Hello viewers, in this video I will discuss some numericals related to the topic or the chapter electric charges and fields. So in electric charges and fields, to be specific, we will discuss some of the numericals related to charging and Coulomb's law of forces. So now we will move on to the numericals. Okay, the first numerical, see here, what is the amount of charge possessed by 1 kg of electrons? So if I have 1 kg of electrons, what is the total charge of this 1 kg of the electrons? So they have also given the mass of a single electron. So if you have a 1 kg of sugar means what is 1 kg of the mass of one sugar is given like that. Similarly, if you have 1 kg of electrons, the mass of one electron has been given. Okay, so now we have to find the total charge of 1 kg of electrons. Okay, so first for that you have to find the number of electrons in 1 kg of electrons. Okay, so first step, we are going to find the number of electrons. So the number of electrons in 1 kg of electrons, that is the total mass given by mass of an electron. So it is 1 kg divided by the mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. So when you do this, you'll be getting the calculations 1.1 into 10 power 30. So this is the number of electrons in 1 kg of electrons. So we have found the number of electrons. Okay. So next you have to find the what is the charge in this number of electrons. So you know that from quantization of charge, Q is equal to N into E. You know the number. You also know the value of a charge. It is given by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. This is the value of one particular charge. Okay, so we have, this is the number. So the total charge is given by 1.1 into 10 power 30 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. When you do this multiplication, you'll be getting the answer in 1.76 into 10 power 11 coulomb. This is the value of the charge. Okay, from this option B is the right answer. Okay, the second problem you see that when 10 power 19 electrons are removed from a neutral plate, because neutral plate means it has equal number of positive and negative charges, that is equal number of protons and electrons. Okay, so when you remove 10 power 19 electrons from a neutral plate, what is the electric charge in it? Okay, so you know the total charge is given by the number of charge particles into charge of a electron or one particular charge E. So here the number of particles is 10 power 19 into charge of one particle is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So from this you will be getting the charge as 1.6 coulomb. Whether it is positive or negative. So we see that electrons are removed from a neutral plate. Okay, so it means that electrons are removed. It means that the plate remaining consists of excess of positive charge, because it has taken many negative charges. So when electrons leave from a plate, we see that the plate now becomes a positively charged plate. So now the charge automatically will become positive. So when electrons are removed, it is positive. When there is gain of electrons, it is negative. Okay, so plus 1.6 coulomb is the right answer. Okay, now the third problem. So in this problem, they are given when a glass rod is rubbed with silk cloth, we have four options: gains electrons from silk, gains protons from silk, gives electrons to silk, gives protons to silk. Okay, so in this charge transfer, we see that charge transfer, there is no contribution of protons. Okay, there will not be any contribution with respect to protons. There is no transfer of any protons. Only there is transfer of only electrons. Only there is transfer of electrons. So if there is a transfer of electrons outside, if there is loss of electron, it is positive charge. If there is gain of electrons, it is negative charge. That's all. Okay, there is no contribution towards your protons. So see, these are two options will get cancelled out. So only we have to choose answer from this A and C. So we know that when a glass rod is rubbed with silk cloth, it attains positive charge and the silk cloth attains negative charge. Okay, so if this is positive charge means that it loses the electrons or it gives the electrons to the silk. Okay, so from this we see that option C is right. It gives the electrons to the silk. This is the right answer. Okay, the fourth question. So one metallic sphere A is given a positive charge. It is given a positive charge. Okay, fine. Whereas another identical metallic sphere B of exactly same mass as A is given equal amount of negative charge. Okay, so here we see that A is positively charged and we see that B is negatively charged. Okay, so we see that a body becomes positively charged means it loses electrons. So when it loses electrons, it becomes positively charged. When a body becomes negatively charged, when it gains electrons. Okay, so see that when it loses electrons, it means that there is some loss of mass of electron. Okay, so the mass of the positively charged body will get reduced when compared to the body with the negatively charged body, because see, B, it is negatively charged means it gains more mass of electron. We know that mass of electron 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. So there is gain of the mass of the negatively charged body. So when compared to A, the mass of B increases. See, we see that the mass of the B increases with it when compared to option A, when compared to mass A. Okay, the fifth problem. So here we have two copper balls, each weighing 10 gram, are kept in air. So we have two copper balls, they are kept in air 10 centimeter apart. If one electron from every 10 power 6 atoms is transferred from one ball to the other, see, from one ball to the other, for every 10 power 6 atoms there is transfer of one electron. Okay, that is a given. So we have to find the Coulomb force between them. So here we have two copper balls. Two copper balls separated by 10 centimeter apart. So each weighing 10 grams. So now first of all we have to find the number of charged particles. So we have to find the number of atoms in 10 gram of copper balls. So we have 10 grams. Now first of all we have to find the number of atoms in 10 grams. Okay, so if we found, that means it is easy to find the number of electrons in the 10 gram. Okay, so after finding number of electrons, it is easy to find the charge in the number of electrons. So first of all, we are going to find the number of atoms. So that could be found by the number of atoms is given by the given mass. So the given mass by the molar mass or atomic weight into this Avogadro number. Okay, this will give you the number of atoms. So the mass is given as 10 gram. Molar mass of copper, it is given as 63.5. And Avogadro number, you know that this is 6.23 into 10 power 23. So when you do this calculation, you will be getting the number of atoms as 9.22 atoms. So this is the number of atoms in 10 gram of copper. Number of atoms in 10 gram of copper. Okay. So now we have to find what is the number of electrons in this atoms. Okay. So you know the rate, for every 10 power 6 atoms there is one electron. So what about the number of electrons in this atom? So now the will be equal to the number of electrons in will be equal to 9.48 into by 10 power 6. So we have one electron in 10 power 6 atoms. So in this number of atoms we will be having 9.48 into 10 power 6, because means 10 power 16. So this is the number of electrons in this number of atoms. Okay, this is the number of electrons, this number of atoms. So we have found the number of electrons. So now we have to find the charged particles. So we have to find this charge Q is equal to, so number of charged particles, that is N. We have N into E. So the number we have found it as 9.48 into 16. So into E is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. When you do this calculation, you will be getting approximately 0.015 Coulomb. So when you do this calculation, we are getting the charge is 0.015 Coulomb. Okay. So we have found the charge between these two. when the charge particle. So it is easy to find the Coulomb force. So the Coulomb force is given by F is equal to K Q square by R square. So you know K value is 9 into 10 power 9 into the charge, it is 0.015 the whole square. By distance it is 10, given as 10 centimeter. So convert into meter, 10 and 10 power minus 2 whole square. So when you do this calculation, you'll be getting the force as 2 into 10 power 8 Newton. So this is the Coulomb force acting between these two copper balls. So option D is the right answer. Okay. Okay, the sixth problem. So in this problem, we see that the force of attraction between 2-point electric charges placed at a distance d in a medium is F. So we have two charges. Okay, let it be plus and minus or Q. So separated by distance d, they have a force F. Okay, so from Coulomb's law, we see that this is the force magnitude. Okay, the force of attraction magnitude is kq square by d square. Okay, k is a constant. So now the question is, what distance apart should these be kept in the same medium so that the force between them becomes F by 3? So that the force becomes F by 3. What is the value? So now here we see that what distance apart should these be kept in the same medium so that the force between them becomes F by D. So if the force become F by 3 k q square, let us keep the new distance as x. Okay, so let us keep the new distance as x for the force F by 3. Okay, so this is the condition. F by 3 is equal to k q square by x square. Okay, so but we already know that the value of k as k q square by d square. So substitute for the f, substitute this one, that is from 1. So k q square by 3 d square is equal to k q square by x square. So these two value gets cancelled. So from this we can see that x square is equal to 3d square, it means x is equal to root 3 into d. Okay, so option D is the right answer. The seventh problem. So the seventh problem is that two positive ions each carrying a charge q are separated by a distance d. If F is the force of repulsion between the ions, the number of electrons missing from each ion will be. So what is the number of electrons missing from each ion to make it as positive charges? Okay, so due to this force of attraction, we see what is the number of electrons missing. So we have to find the some expression relating to these terms. Okay, so you know that from Coulomb's law we have two positive charges. Let us take it as Q. Okay, so they have a force F. So here we see that F is given by K q square by separated by distance d, so it is d square. So k q square by d square, if you substitute the value of k, it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q square by d square. So and you know that the total charge q will be equal to n into a single charge, ne. So just replace the value of q with respect to ne, simple. So F will be equal to 1 by, so n square e square by d square. So we need the expression for n. So n becomes n square is equal to F d square by e square. So n will be equal to square root of this is the expression for n. Okay, so from this option C is the right answer. Okay, so here we have the eighth problem. So this problem is asked in 2013. In 2013. Okay, so we have two pith balls. We have two pith balls carrying equal charges. They are suspended from a common point by string. They are suspended by a string from a common point. Two pith balls. Okay, the equilibrium separation between them is r. So here it is given as r. Now what happens? The length of separation is being reduced. See, the strings are rigidly clamped half the height. Now the height is being reduced half. The equilibrium separation between the balls now becomes, so they are asking the value of r dash. So from the options we see that we are getting the value of r dash with respect to r. Okay, so first we will see, we will discuss the terms related to the first diagram. Okay, see here we have the pith ball here. So let us consider one pith ball. See, the weight of the pith ball acts downwards. See, both are equal charges. So we see that electrostatic force acts in this particular pith ball in this direction. That is, electrostatic force acts in this particular direction. The tension acts in this particular direction. See, this is the inclination theta here, and this is also theta. So here it becomes t cos theta, and this direction it becomes t sin theta. Okay, so now we will resolve the terms, resolve the force terms. Here we see that T sin theta will be equal to Fe, that is electrostatic force. Next we have T cos theta is equal to mg. Okay, so now when we equate this two, divide these two, we'll be getting T and T will get cancelled. Sin theta by cos theta will become tan theta, which is equal to Fe by mg. So from this we can say Fe is equal to mg tan theta. Mg tan theta. So what is this Fe? The electrostatic force between the two pith balls. They are positively charged. So now we can, instead of Fe, I am writing the equation. So K q square by the distance of separation is, you know that it is r square. So r square. So here you know that it is mg. So what is tan theta? So here we have theta. Tan theta means opposite by adjacent. So it is r, this distance is r by, when we take this particular triangle, one particular triangle, this value becomes r by 2 and this is y. So mg r by 2 by y. Okay. So this could be written as kq square by r square is equal to mgr by 2y. So I've taken 2 to the denominator. So from this I'm going to replace, I'm going to cross multiply. We have, this is r cube. So I'm taking r square here. R cube will be equal to, we see that kq square, this 2 kq square y by mg. So separately I have got the value of r. So r cube I am getting the value 2k q square y by mg. So now we'll move on to the second case, second particular diagram. In this particular case also we will be getting the same force distribution. Okay, the same formula. This Fe is equal to mg tan theta. For second case also we will be getting Fe is equal to mg tan theta. But the value of the force here will be kq square by r dash the whole square. Here it is mg. With respect to tan theta, we say this is y by 2 and this is also r by 2. That is the difference. So here we have, first r by 2, then y by 2. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So here it is k q square by r dash the whole square will be equal to mg r by y. So here we are getting r dash q will be equal to kq square y by mg. So we are getting r dash cube as kq square y by mg. Here we have already got the value of r cube. So let us say this is equation 1. Okay. So here we have got the value of r dash cube kq square y by mg. So just substitute this value r dash in this particular r cube. So r cube will become, so k q square y by mg. Instead of k q square y by mg, just replace r dash the whole cube. So we have to find the value of r dash only. So from this r dash could be written as r dash cube is written as r cube by 2. So which implies r dash is equal to, so whether I write upwards. Okay, I will write it here. So from this we can write r dash is equal to r by 2 power 1 by 3. R dash could be written as r by cube root of this 2. Okay, so from this we are getting r dash is equal to r by 2 power 1 by 3. So r by cube root of 2, that the option B is the right answer. So we are getting r dash in terms of this one. Okay, so here the ninth problem. See, here they given that determine the force on charge q placed at center in the following system of charges q. See, outside also we are having charge plus q. So we have to find the resultant force acting on this point due to the other charges. Okay, here this point also we have charge plus q. So you have to find the resultant force due to the charges on the outside of this equilateral triangle. Okay, so now let us mark the points individually as A, B and C. Okay, so each charge, here this is the distance separation. Okay, so we have to find the, first of all we will find the force due to each individual charges on this particular point. Okay, so for that we have to find the distance. So for see that here we have A, B and C. So we have to find the distance AO, BO and CO to find the force. Okay, so first we have to determine the value of AO, BO and CO. Okay, so I'm going to extend this line up to D here, this point. Let us take this point as D. And you know that this angle will be 30 degree because the total angle will be equal to 60 degree for the equilateral triangle. So the half is 30 degree. Okay, so now I'm going to apply cos 30. Cos 30 will give you AD by AC, in which AD is equal to AC cos 30. AC, you know that it is A, cos 30 it is root 3 by 2. So we got the value of AD as A root 3 by 2. But we don't know, we don't want AD, we want only AO. So from the equilateral triangle we see that this AO is equal to 2 by 3 of AD. And this OD will be 1 by 3 of AD. So ultimately AO, the value of AO is 2 by 3 of AD. So 2 by 3 into A root 3 by 2. 2 gets cancelled. From here A root 3. Instead of 3 we can write it as root 3 and root 3 will becomes A by root 3. So we got the value of AO as A by root 3. And by symmetry we see that AO is equal to BO is equal to CO, which is also equal to, which will be also equal to A by root 3. So we have found the distance gap. So now we have to find the force of separation. So here we see that, let us take these 2 points B and C. The force from B will be acting at this point O in this particular direction. So let us name it as FBO. Okay, and the force from this point C will be acting in this particular direction. So let us name it as FCO. See, this is the, so FBO, FCO. So these two forces, the resultant of these two forces will be acting in this particular direction, upwards, the resultant. So we have to find first the resultant of these two forces. Okay, so first for that we have to find the force FBO and FCO. So both they are, see, both they are separated from the same distance, so they will be having same values, so we will find them. So FBO or FBO or FBCO could be, will be equal to K, the charge is Q square because both are having QQ, by the distance it is A by root 3 the whole square. So this will be the magnitude of the force from the point B and C. Let us keep it as common as F because both are same. Let us keep it in common as F. So now we have to find the resultant of these two forces. The resultant of this, resultant of FBO and FCO. So by parallelogram law of forces, so we have named this force as F. So from this will be equal to F square 2 F dot F cos the theta, the angle between the, see, the angle between these two forces is 120 degree, 120 degree. So here we'll be getting 2F square plus 2F square, this is minus 1 by 2, this is minus 1 by 2. So here we'll be getting 2F square minus F square, so we'll be getting up So which is equal to, sorry, so 2f square minus f square, so it is square root of f square, which is equal to f. So we have got the resultant value as f, simply f, that is this value, kq square by a root 3 whole square. Okay, so here we see that at this point O, we have found the resultant of these two forces B and C. We have one force remaining A. See, this is also positive charge, and the force from this point A will be pointing rightly in the downward direction. See, it will be pointing in this downward direction. So what is the magnitude of the force? That force also will be equal to the same. FAO will be equal to the same KQ square by the whole square. Let us keep it, this is also F. So the beauty is, see that the resultant of these two forces were acting in the upward direction, that was, it was founded as F. And the force from this point A is also F, but it is pointing in the downward direction. This is also F. So up F, down F, both are equal magnitude, but they are in opposite direction. So which means it says that the resultant force at this point will become 0. So the net force on the point O will be 0. Will be 0. Okay, so option A is the right answer. On to the 10th problem. So here we see that the charges Q, 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 they are placed at the corners A, B, C, D of square respectively. Okay, so if the resultant force on the charge Q is 0 due to other charges, what is the relationship between Q and small q? So let us draw the diagram first. So we have a square here. Okay, so we see that, let us take the point as A, B, C and D. And the charge positions are given as capital Q, small q. Capital Q, small q. This is a charge arrangement. So here they given, if the resultant force on the charge capital Q, it can be either this one or that one, on the charge Q is 0 due to other charges. If I am choosing this one, means the resultant force due to these charges, this capital Q, this small q, will be equal to 0. If that is the case, means what is the relation between capital Q and small q? That is the question asked. Okay, so now we have to find the, let us take this charge that is at the point C, and we will check what is happening. Okay, what is the force distribution? So now here we see that the force, all are positive charges. Now let us take one by one. So the force due to the charge kept at B will be acting at the point C in this direction. See, in this downward direction. So here I can write it as FCB. Okay, FCB. So next we see that the force due to the charge kept at D will be acting in C in this particular direction due to force of repulsion. This is FCD. Okay. So after these two charges, we see that the resultant of these two charges will be acting in this particular direction by parallelogram law of forces. Okay. So acting in this particular direction. So we have to find the resultant. So first of all, we will do this. We will find the resultant of this force. So first we have to find the force individually. See, the both are, oh, this distance of separation, let's take it as small a. See, these two forces, two charges, they are separated by the same distance. So those two will be having the same magnitude of force. See, here we have FCB and FCD. Both they will be having same magnitude because same charges. Okay, but separated by the same distance. So it could be K, small q, capital Q. See, small q, capital Q, by the distance is a square. So this is the magnitude. So now let us keep this magnitude as F. Okay. So the resultant force due to B and D on C. So this R will be equal to square root of C F square plus 2 F dot F cos, the angle between these two forces here, you see it is 90 degree. So cos 90 degree. You know that cos 90 becomes 0. So here we are getting the value of r as 2f square, which is equal to root 2 into f. So we have got the resultant force as root 2 into f. So we have another force also due to the charge kept at A. That will be pointing in this direction. See, that will be also pointing in the resultant force direction of these two forces. So, okay, so we have to add that force also. Okay, so it is separated by distance root 2a as it is a diagonal. So we have to find the magnitude of this force also. So the force FCA will be equal to, so K Q, here it is K Q square because Q and capital Q both are same. By the distance is root 2a the whole square, it will becomes 2a square. So this is the magnitude. Okay. So now the condition is the total force acting on this charge Q will be, if it is 0 means what is the relation between capital Q and small q. So now take the total force on the charge Q at point C is equal to, that is addition of R, this value R plus FCA. R plus FCA. So let us do it here. R plus FCA. You know R it is root 2F, that is root 2. What is F? So we are equating it to 0. Okay. So next condition is equate to 0. So we are going to equate this R plus FCA is equal to 0. So what is the value of R that we got? So we'll see where is the space available. So I think, okay, space available. So R we are getting it as root 2. What is the value of F? It is K small q capital Q by A square plus the FCA is K Q square by A square, which is equal to 0. So this is the, and we got, so I will continue here. Okay, here I have space. So I'm taking this to the right hand side. Okay, so here it is K Q capital Q divided by, will be equal to minus of K Q square by A square. Okay, so here the common terms K 1 Q Q A square will get cancelled. So the term remaining here is root 2 Q. Am I missing something? Here it is 2a square. Fine. Here it is 2a square. Fine. 2a square. So here also it is 2a square. So 2 gets multiplied means it is 2 root 2. Q will be equal to minus Q. So from this we can say Q will be equal to minus 2 root 2 Q. Minus 2 root 2 Q. So option A is the right answer. 11th problem. See here. 2-point charges A and B having charges plus Q and minus Q respectively are placed a certain distance apart. Okay, so we have charges plus Q and minus Q. They are placed at certain distance apart. And the force acting between these two charges is F. Okay, fine. So now they are telling us if 25% charge of A, see, let us name the point as A and B. The 25% of the charge from A is transferred to B. So there is a loss in A and there is a gain in B. Okay. So how much is lost in A? 25%. So it becomes, that is 1 by 4. So Q minus Q by 4. Now the value of charge here it is in A is 3Q by 4. So there is a gain of charge in B. So how much? It is minus Q plus Q by 4. 25%. So it becomes minus, so here the charge becomes minus 3Q by 4. This is the new value of charges in A and B now. So we have to find the new force. So F dash will be equal to, so K, this particular product, KQ square. So 3Q by 4 the whole square divided by distance r square. So they are same because you know the value of f, it is in the old condition it is k q square by r square. This is f, this is f dash. So here it is k q square, it is 9 by 16 of r square. So f dash could be, see, instead of this k q square by r square, we can replace by f. So it becomes 9 by 16 of f. This is the value of f dash. So 9 by 16, option C is the right answer. And here we have the 12th problem. So here we have two spherical conductors B and C having equal radii. So here we have two conductors B and C, they having equal radii and carrying equal charges in them. So let us take the charges as capital Q for both of them. Okay, in which they repel each other with the force F. So they are positive charges in which they repel each other with the force F when kept at some distance. Okay, at some distance. So third spherical conductor. So now we are taking a third spherical conductor. Let us name it as P. Okay, having some radius as that of B. So it is equal radius to that of B. Okay, but uncharged. So it is of uncharged means it is totally neutral in nature. So it is brought in contact with B. First, it is brought in contact with B. So when it is brought in contact with B, so see, contact B. Okay. So when it is in contact with B, you see that the charge will be equally distributed between the two. Okay. So now B will become Q by 2 and this will become Q by 2. Both will become equally charged. Okay. So after contact with B, charge in P is Q by 2. Okay. So the next condition is contact with B, then brought in contact with C. So after making contact with B, now it is in contact with C. Okay. So now with contact with C, the charge here it is now it is Q by 2. See, now the charge in P it is Q by 2. In C it is Q. So when there is equal charge distribution, now the charge in after sharing, see that here half will be shared, here half will be shared. So after sharing, we see that, so after contacting C by P, the charge in P and C is the charge in P and C. After contacting C by P, the charge in P and C. See, after contacting here Q by 4 is shared. See, Q means here Q by 4 is shared, here Q by 2 is shared. This is the shared portion. So this is the value of charge now remaining in this particular P. Okay, so when I add this both, Q by 4 plus 3 Q by 2, it will become 3Q by 4. So now the charge in P will become 3Q by 4. See, from this P, Q by 4 is shared, here Q by 2 is shared. So that will be the total charge remaining in both P and C. Okay, so this is being shared and this is the total charge remaining 3Q by 4 after contacting the P with the C. Before contacting, the charge in P was Q by 2 and C it is Q. After contacting P, because after contacting the P is removed. Okay, after removed the charge in this both will be 3Q by 4. So first B, initially P made contact with B. So after it is removed, the charge remain here is B, for B is Q by 2. So see, for the charge B it is Q by 2. So then it is made in contact with C. Okay, so after P making contact with C, then it is removed. So now the charge in C will become 3Q by 4. Okay, so see, the charge now remaining is 3Q by 4. So now the new force of attraction, we have to find the new force of attraction here. So here we have F will be equal to the new force or the F dash, because already F, we have F, the value of F is, you know that, K Q square by, let us take the distance as R, so it is R square. We can keep the value of F as K Q square by R square. So now the F dash will be equal to, so K, the charge values, you know that it is Q by 2 and it is 3Q by 4 by R square. So here it is K Q square 3 by 8 by R square. So from this we see that F dash becomes equal to 3 by 8 of F. Okay, so the new force now it is 3 by 8 of F. Okay, so you should know the charging properly. So from B and C, it was initially at Q and Q. So first the P uncharged body when made in contact with B, the charge in B will becomes Q by 2. So now the charge in P is Q by 2. So when it is made in contact with C, in which the charge was Q, after contacting with C, the charge becomes, because here Q by 4 is shared, here Q by 2 will be shared. So when you add the both, it will becomes 3Q by 4. That is the charge remaining in C and P. So the charge now in C is 3Q by 4. In B it is Q by 2. When you do the calculation, you will be getting the value of new force as 3 by 8 of the old force F. Okay. So here we have discussed some problems related to the topic charges and Coulomb forces, Coulomb's law. Okay. So for more problems, for more videos, subscribe this channel. For more problems, I will be uploading more problems on the topic related to electric fields, flux and Gauss law in upcoming videos you will see. So kindly watch all the problem videos, which will be very useful for you too for preparing competitive exams. Okay, thank you.